And art critic Rainer Zarb said, "It is probably impossible to find a church building anything like it in the entire history of art." Eastern side is the nativity facade that depicts the birth of Jesus. The Passion facade depicts the crucifixion of the Christ. Colored glasses are the most attractive features of the interior to the visitors, besides the large scale and all the amazing stonework. This church will come out as the tallest church in the world, Sagrada Familia, an architectural marvel, one of the most beautiful cathedrals in the world. It is also known to be the biggest church in the world. And art critic Rainer Zarb said, "It is probably impossible to find a church building anything like it in the entire history of art." Paul Goldberger, an author and architectural critic, said, "The most extraordinary personal interpretation of Gothic architecture since the Middle Ages." It is situated at the heart of Barcelona, Spain, originated in 1866 by a man named Josep Maria Bocabella, a book merchant and a dreamer. Eventually, a congregation of devotees of Saint Joseph came together to build a temple to honor him. The first stone was laid on March 19, 1882, on 12,000 square meters of land. It's been 142 years since, and the construction work is still going on. Though the construction work is not done yet, this phenomenal architecture is already a World Heritage Site and is one of the Barcelona's most famous landmarks. Also, it is open for worshippers. In 2010, the church was blessed for religious worship and designated as minor basilica by Pope Benedict XVII. The first architect was Don Francisco de Paula del Villar, but he left the project due to some disagreements. And a year later, the young and visionary architect Antoni Gaudí took over the project when he was only 31 years old. He devoted the rest of his life to this project. He wanted to create a space that is a combination of faith, art, architecture, and nature, where every stone tells a story. Gaudí abandoned all his project and surrendered himself only to this project. He built a workshop inside the construction site and lived there from 1912 to 1926 until his death. He also started a school for the children of the neighborhood and the construction workers there. Gaudí believed that it would take 200 years to finish this project. But the good news is the estimated completion date is 2026. If that happens, the project will be completed in 144 years, much faster than anticipated. Antoni Gaudí wanted to build a bridge between humans and the divine. He adopted a new Gothic style for the architectural design that is supposed to stand on its own without internal bracing and external buttressing. He merged neo-Gothic style with the Art Nouveau and created a personal, unique style. In the urban surroundings, it may look like an unexpected sight with its solid organic form and twisted towers looming over the city. Unfortunately, Gaudí died in 1926, run over by a tram, when close to a quarter of the project was completed, which is the first tower out of the 18 in the nativity facade. Gaudí's tomb is right beneath the cathedral. He knew that he would not be able to see the finishing of the project. After Gaudí's death, the work was taken over by his main disciple, Dominic Sagreins-Aigret. Gaudí's tragic death seriously hampered the project. Construction work took another huge setback during the Spanish Civil War. Gaudí's design and models were partially destroyed in Spanish Civil War when some anarchists set fire to the crypt in July 1936. It took 3 generations of architects to build back the project's original essence. In 1939, a group of architects, Frances Quintana, Isidro Puig Boada, Luis Bonet Aigueri, and Frances Cardona took over the project. They conducted the restoration work of the design and models from the materials that was saved from Gaudí's workshop. Some designs were reconstructed from the published plans and photographs. The construction work finally restarted in 1950s. What can be seen today is mostly some surviving materials from the Gaudí's design, some reconstructed materials, and some modern approach. The computer was introduced into the design and construction process in 1980s. The restoration of Gaudí's models using the modern computers could express what Gaudí originally envisioned. The construction work was challenged by fire recently in 2011 again. This time the fire was caused by an arsonist. By 2019, parts of the basilica that was built in early 20th century became so old that they needed renovation. Let's get to the design of this masterpiece in brief. It was built on a basic basilica plan. Every corner of the church is full of symbolism. Eastern side is the nativity facade that depicts the birth of Jesus. Anyone will be astonished by the artistic detail built on stone that seems so organic. Gaudí said there is no sharp corners and straight lines in nature, so he believed there shouldn't be any straight lines or sharp corners in the architecture as well. The gigantically gorgeous nativity facade includes people, animals, and nature, all with incredible details. This side is full of life. Nativity facade is the perfect representation of Gaudí's original design. The Nativity facade and the crypt of Sagrada Familia received the World Heritage status in 1984 by UNESCO. The opposite side, the west side of the church, is the Passion facade, which is much different. This side has all the sharp edges, corners, and straight lines. The Passion facade depicts the crucifixion of the Christ. You will find the sadness, emotions, grief on the faces. These two are only the side entrances, and the main entrance is yet to be completed. That will depict the celebration of divine glory. The interiors have the essence of nature. All the towering columns and the branches should remind the visitors about forests with a canopy of leaves over the top. The colored glasses are the most attractive features of the interior to the visitors, besides the large scale and all the amazing stonework. Visitors and worshippers experience a shower of different shades of light pouring from all over. Throughout the day, the colors change, creating beautiful hues of red, green, blue, and yellow. This church will come out as the tallest church in the world, with the central tower, which is the Jesus Tower, being 560 feet tall. A project of that scale and that length must be very expensive, right? Who is bearing the construction cost? Since the beginning, the construction expenditure was run by donations. Today, this magnanimous creation attracts 3 million visitors a year from all over the world and from all the beliefs. So, money is not a problem and construction work is going very fast. The rest of the towers and the remaining construction works are scheduled to be completed by 2026 after 100 years of Gaudí's death. But work on some decorative details, some sculptures, and a proposed stairway leading to a main entrance is expected to continue until 2034. I hope you liked this video. Please subscribe to stay tuned.